What's up, everybody? Once again, my name is Matt, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. In the last episode, we explored both the right and left sections of Hyrule Castle's courtyard and got ourselves 2 small keys. Now that we have these, well, it's finally time to go inside Hyrule Castle itself. And this is really cool because I always love it when Zelda games let you go inside the castle and explore and look around and stuff like that, because it's always usually really cool and you get to see like a glimpse of how the royalty of Hyrule lives and stuff like that. A lot of the 3D Zelda games don't actually do it. Like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are like the only 2 Zelda games that really give you like the best experience for exploring Hyrule Castle. So honestly, in terms of like Hyrule Castles, A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds are probably my favorite iteration just because there is so much to see and explore in those games. But that's not really what we're here to talk about. So as you can see, yeah, the inside of Hyrule Castle pretty much plays out the same way as the outside does. You're going to go to a new area, fight a couple of enemies, and then make your way to the next area. Like our goal this time around though, is to just get all the way to the top of the castle. So there we go. Now that those enemies are gone, this area will light up, and welcome to the foyer of Hyrule Castle. Looks really cool, and it seems like there's a lot to do in here, but really there isn't, unless you want to get like a couple extra rupees, which aren't required at all. But there is a chest over there that we do want to get. So the only way to actually like progress in this area or even get to any other sections of the temple is via claw shot. So I have no idea how like the royalty gets around, but I mean, maybe they sort of like did a redesign before we got here. Anyways, let's just hop down here and open up this chest, because inside, well, it's going to contain the compass for this area. So now that we got this, the only thing left to collect is actually the big key. Like there's also another small key, but we'll talk more about that a bit later. For now, let's just use our claw shot to get over to this door, and we can see what else is waiting in store for us in the rest of Hyrule Castle. Like this area is kind of short, so yeah, we're not gonna be here for too long, but it's still stinking cool. And alright, here we go. We gotta fight ourselves a Dark Now. Man, we haven't fought one of these in a long time. Well, I mean, technically I fought them in the Cave of Ordeals, but I sort of like fast forwarded through that. So I guess to sort of recap, if like you guys are kind of confused on how to fight these guys, there's a couple of different methods that you can do. You can try the Helm Splitter, which doesn't always work, or you can try to do the Backslice, which again doesn't always work. So like the best way to fight these guys is honestly just try and wait for them to attack and then counterattack them. That is like the most guaranteed way to actually get hits on them, at least when they're in their sort of armor. Once you break their armor off, it becomes a little bit easier to actually deal damage to these guys. So there we go, we got his armor off, and now the easiest way to fight these guys is to break their guard and then attack them. So you can break their guard a couple of different ways, but the easiest way is by doing a backslice. Yeah, and then just dealing a ton of damage to them. So just do that and you should be fine for the most part. So hopefully I can like get around this guy another time. There we go, and his guard's broken, so let's just slash, and that is that. Alright, so now that he is gone, yes, he's going to cause this chest to appear, so we'll pick that up in a second. But before we can do that, let me actually grab these hearts real quick. There is actually a puzzle that we need to solve in this room, and it requires us putting out that torch. So let me get my Gale Boomerang real quick, and you don't want to just like put out the torch right away. Instead, come over to this area and get close to this platform, because what you want to do is target the torch and then let your boomerang fly, but make sure you step on this platform quickly. That way, before the flame goes out, you're on it and it brings you to the top. And now we can open up this chest and get ourselves a purple rupee. Alright, so now that that is done, we can pretty much leave this room because there is nothing else that we really need to see. So let's just head through here. And well, guess what? There are more enemies that we need to fight. Who would have guessed it? I know, right? It's so surprising. Thankfully, these guys are kind of easy, so we should be able to take them out relatively quickly, and then we can move on to the next room. Alright, let's just finish this guy off real quick, and he's done, so now I just gotta deal with you. But, you'll notice that after you kill them, yeah, the door doesn't really unlock, so what you actually need to do in this room is, take out your bow, and you need to shoot down the middle painting, and right behind it is a crystal switch, so we can just hit that to activate it, and yes, that will unlock the door, and now we can move out of this room. Just like a slight little puzzle that you gotta solve, but really nothing too hard. Alright, so in this room, there are 2 Dark Nuts that we need to fight. Now, fighting multiple Dark Nuts at the same time is not recommended at all. Thankfully, there's a small trick that you can do in this room. So, if you go off to the right side and just approach the right Dark Nut very, very slowly, eventually you should be able to draw his aggro. Yeah, just like that. And now what we're going to do is draw him away from the other Dark Knight, like all the way to the other end of the room as far as we can. That way we have plenty of room to fight this guy without sort of attracting the attention of the other Dark Knight. So come on, buddy, come back here a little bit more. And don't worry, like the hallway is pretty big, so there's a ton of room to fight this guy. You don't really need to worry about that. But here we go. Let's just start dealing damage to this guy, and hopefully we can take him out quickly. And then we'll go and fight the other guy. Like, fighting them one-on-one is a much better way to do this room, rather than trying to take them both on at the same time, because that is just utterly ridiculous. So, after we defeat both of these Dark Nuts, there's a door on the left and right side of this room that will unlock. And the door on the right side actually goes back into the foyer of Hyrule Castle. And if you go over there, there's a couple like puzzles that you can solve and get a few chests that add up to, I believe, 250 rupees. So, yeah, you can go back into that room and get the 250 rupees if you really, really want to. But keep in mind, if you do that, you're going to end up on the bottom floor of the foyer when you're done, and have to backtrack all the way throughout the entire temple just to get back up here and make progress again. So, for that reason alone, I really don't think it's worth the time to actually go and get those rupees, especially since you really don't need them. Like, we're in the final area of the game, guys. You really do not need rupees unless you plan on using your magic armor, which really you don't need because the final battles aren't really that difficult, and there's really no good like area to even use magic armor. Like maybe like 1 or 2 of the phases you can actually use it, but it's really not necessary. Alright, so there we go. That Dark Nut is down. So now that he is gone, yeah, like I said, the 2 doors are going to open up. Now, if you want to, you can go through this left door and go back to the foyer of the castle and go get those rupees. But like I said, it's not necessary to complete this area at all. So I'm not going to bother with that. Instead, let's just head directly through this door. And this is going to take us sort of outside the castle. And this is way more interesting because, well, check it out. Right over here is the chest that contains the big key. And uh-oh, looks like we gotta fight a couple of enemies and some archers as well. Link, look out, dude. Oh, crap. Looks like someone saved us, though. I wonder, who it was. And wow, they're actually taking out the archers, too. And all those enemies. Well, that is nice of them. Wait, it was a hawk who did all that? Are you kidding me? No, of course not. That hawk actually belongs to our good pal Russell. And the entire gang from Telma's Bar came here to lend us a hand. So, thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate it. But, yeah, that is the only help they're actually going to give us, because they're just going to pretty much leave at this point. It's kind of funny. They show up for that, like, one little tiny segment, and that's about it. But it does allow us to just walk up to this chest, and now we can get ourselves the big key. So there we go. As far as the collectibles go, that is the last of them. There is one more small key that we need to collect. It's kind of optional, but if you want to get to a super secret room, you definitely want to pick it up. And trust me, I want to go in that room, so I'm going to go in and grab it. Now, if you don't really care for that, you can actually just enter the door to the right and continue all the way to the top of the castle just fine. However, if you're like me and you want to go to the super secret room, well, just head over here. And once you get to the middle section of this bridge, yeah, you're going to get trapped in. And we have to fight in Arialphos, I believe is this enemy's name. He was the mini-boss from the City in the Sky. So yeah, we know how to fight him. Really not going to be anything too difficult. But after we do defeat him, similar to how we got a chest on the other side that contained the B key, we'll find a chest on this side that contains a small key, and then all we gotta do is make our way to the top of the castle, and right before the boss door is actually where the super secret room actually is. So let's deal some damage to this guy now, and there we go. Now, I know there is a way to attack this guy on the ground. Like, I'm not exactly sure how to do it though, because getting around him is kind of hard to do on like this small bridge. So yeah, looks like we didn't really get lucky there. So, oh well, we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way then. Come on, dude, don't go all the way over there. And gosh dang it, yeah, he is way too far away now. That kind of stinks. Like, I knew that was gonna happen when he was flying like over the barrier section. That, like, I wouldn't be able to get close enough to actually get him. But come on, dude, just put your shield up. There we go. And this should be it, hopefully. So there we go. He is out of here. And now, well, we can head over to this chest and get ourselves the final small key. So there we go. That does it for all the collectibles in this area. Now that that is done, let's make our way back to the middle door that we passed on the way over here and go through there. Now, I should mention that the super secret room is not required at all to complete this temple. Like, it just sort of rewards you for collecting everything, I guess you could say, but nothing in there is really needed to beat the game or really that necessary. Alright, so, in this room, what you want to do is actually transform into a wolf, believe it or not, because you kind of need to. If you turn on your senses, well, you're going to see a bunch of Hylian guards and also a bunch of these rats. So, let me shake these guys off me real quick. But, you want to see the Hylian guards because, well, if you get close to them, they actually sort of stick their arms out and point in a direction. And that's the direction you want to jump in because some of these platforms will actually fall down if you step on the wrong ones. So, obviously, the Hylian guards are sort of pointing you in the correct direction. Now, you don't actually need to do this. If you wanted to, you could try and run across these platforms. It's possible to make it, but it's much safer just to do it this way, and it really doesn't take that long. So, now that that is done, let's transform back into a human. And pretty much at this point, we are done with the temple. The only thing that we need to do is make our way all the way to the top. So, let's just start a climbing, I guess. And of course, yeah, no, they couldn't make it easy and just like have working staircases. Of course, they're all broken up and we need to find like other ways to get up them. And oh yeah, since we're at full HP, we have like the Great Spin and that does a ton of damage to those guys. Alright, so for this section of stairs, what you need to do is take out your claw shot and hook onto the lanterns on the side of the walls. Now, I want you to pay attention to the music in this area because it's really, really cool how they do this. Like, they sort of, fade from the normal Hyrule Castle theme into Ganon's theme, the higher you get up into the castle, and it's really, really cool. And oh man, dude, I love the Great Spin. Took both of those guys out as well. And now it looks like we need our spinner, and I believe this is actually the last staircase. The timing looks pretty simple too, so we should be alright. Let's do this, baby. And oh crap, that was the wrong button. Gosh dang it, dude. That was 100% my fault. Totally pressed the wrong button there. I always forget, like, what the jump button actually is. But let's do this correctly this time. And there we go. Not even a problem. And yes, that was the last staircase because, well, we're at the top. And the only thing standing in our way now is this one final Dark Nut. And yeah, he looks stacked, man. Like, his armor looks decked out. Thankfully, he's just as easy as any other Dark Nut. And I believe his attack animations are actually slightly longer, too. So, if you do wait for a counterattack, you should be able to go in on this guy much easier than, like, any other Dark Nut. So, yeah, like, it seems pretty forgiving with that. Alright, so let's just keep wailing on him. And there we go. His armor is already gone. Not bad. And once his armor's gone, yeah, you can pretty much fight him as you would any other Dark Knight. You can use like the same tactic of the backslice to break his guard, and then just wail on him. So this should be it. And there we go. Down goes the Dark Knight, baby. Not really sure why he dropped arrows. I would have preferred like hearts, but whatever. So there is the boss door, but right over here is the door to the super secret room. So what do you say we go inside? And if you look on your map, yeah, this room is filled to the brim with tons and tons of chests. So let's just start opening them up. We're not gonna like get anything too important from this. Like we'll get a couple of rupees, a couple of restock items, and stuff like that, but we don't really need them for the final battle. Like the only thing in here remotely useful, I guess you could say, would be the rupees, because you can at least use those to fund the use of your magic armor. But like I said before, you really shouldn't need to use your magic armor in the final battles of this game, because they're kind of short and kind of easy, so not really necessary. The restock items are kind of useless as well, because the only like remotely useful tool would be arrows, but even still, there's an alternate way to fight the boss that actually does use arrows, and it's much, much easier, so I'll probably use that method instead, but it's still kind of cool. So I guess we'll just go through here and open up the remaining small chests, and then I believe there's actually a fairy in this room as well, so we'll probably collect that in our bottle, just because, you know, why the heck not? I mean, we haven't actually collected a fairy the entire time in this game, mainly because they're not really needed, but if you do die, a fairy will restore 8 hearts, which is kind of nice, but I don't plan on dying during the final battles anyways, so yeah, I guess it's nice to have some form of life insurance, but there we go. That is the last of the chests. Hopefully we can find some hearts in here, though, because I do kind of want to be at full HP. Gosh dang it, nope. Guess there are no hearts then. Alright, well, we got totally unlucky, but in this pot over here is actually a fairy, so let me grab an empty bottle real quick, and we'll break this open and scoop up that fairy. So there we go, we got ourselves a bit of life insurance. Now that that is done, there's pretty much nothing else to do in this room, so let's just get out of here. And well, there's really only one thing left to do, guys, and that is take on the final boss. Oh, there we go, there's a heart, perfect. Alright, full HP, that is exactly where I want to be, so let's just head through this boss door and challenge Ganondorf, man. Alright. It's kind of crazy that we're here already, dude. Oh, man, that's kind of surreal. So, alright. Here we are. Pretty much at the top of Hyrule Castle, and right in that room is the throne room where the final boss is going to take place. Oh, man. I could not think of a more perfect setting. Like, it's so ominous up here. Like, you can hear the wind blowing. It's starting to storm. Oh, man, it's perfect for a final showdown. But you know what? We're going to do that in the next episode. So if you guys enjoyed this part, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more, consider subscribing. But once again, guys, my name is Matt. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.